So really quickly, just turning the air conditioning down for a second. Uh, I wanted to tackle the issue that I think in Alaska is related to my issues with the Iditarod, the dog mushing, the labor trafficking, the labor issues with the dog handlers, and how it ties into the larger issue with J-1 visas and cheap exploitable labor in the United States of America. Specifically, you see a lot of it in tourism destinations, which the state of Alaska, Denali Park. There's a great older article in the Anchorage Daily News where it cites how there's like 3 or 4 thousand jobs just in that one community, tourism jobs in the summer that are going to, these J-1 visas, these temporary workers, and how they're working two different jobs and almost like, they're not getting the overtime wages. And it's just sort of a tricky way for American employers to basically have this cheap exploitable labor. And also just how it's, you look at the bigger picture in the United States, from the bird's eye view, I was just doing some research. 300,000 J-1 visas a year. Some of them go, some of them go for a couple years, whatever, or issued a year. Just think if you trashed that one program, 300,000 American jobs for Americans could be created with that one move. If Congress and the Senate could do something like that, I think it's a no-brainer. You know what I mean? I think the program might have had a good intention, the J-1 visa program, but I think it's flawed and it hasn't delivered in terms of, the mission, which was more of a cultural experience for these young foreign workers when they come here. My firsthand, interactions and impressions over the years, being a young person in Alaska, working and living near a lot, I think a lot of them feel like they don't have any time. They don't, the program had a good intent, but it did not, it had a great mission, but it didn't necessarily reach that. And instead, it's become something where, young, cheap, exploitable labor and taking American jobs, taking American livelihoods. And I really saw, in Alaska, I'm like, Alaskan jobs, Alaska livelihoods. It's a broader American issue, though. When you look at the bird's eye view, traveling around, why can't Congress and the Senate nix that program for a year? Say, if the J-1 visas have already been issued, right? Those people can have them, but we're not going to issue any more after 2019. You know what I mean? This is it. We're going to take a couple years and we're going to rethink this program. We want to, bolster the American economy. We want our kids to have jobs, and then they can use that money to go to college here. The kids who grew up here in America. This isn't anti-immigration because, the J-1 visas, these people are not immigrating. They're just here for a few years working during the summer, doing house cleaning jobs, doing tourism jobs. And, this isn't something where I don't like, Eastern Europeans or anything, or I don't like these. That's not it. I'm not against immigration. We're talking about people coming here for the summer, for 3 or 4 years, simply young people, cheap exploitable labor in the American employers, basically, in a lot of times, substandard conditions, living